Hello, my name is Mordred, and I would like to welcome you to a very special session here. We are, of course, on episode 100 of this Let's Play Prophecy of Pendor, and I have a few little things up my sleeve. I've totally exploited my position as a developer on the Prophecy of Pendor development team, and I'm going to show you off some of the stuff that we have in the pipeline currently. I have actually done this with the permission of the rest of the team. I'm not totally going behind their back on this. So I have a nice long list of things that they said I could show off, and I'm really excited to get into this. As I've said before, I'm not that involved in development anymore. I used to be far more active. I still do a few things here and there, but in this one we have a new programmer, CWR. Mitchy Matt, of course, is still doing a whole bunch of things for the factions and the units, like the Dashar overhaul that's being worked on currently. I'm not sure we'll be able to show anything off for that, though there is some new faction stuff I will be able to. And of course our two extremely active artists, Snooze and Conrad. And there are a couple of other developers as well doing a few things, Aslan, Xeros, etc. So, what can we show you first? Well, the first thing is obviously this menu screen. It has changed very slightly from the previous one, except for this nice shiny 3.8 down there. We've stripped out some of the stuff that never got used, like the custom battles and the tutorial. They just weren't relevant to Prophecy of Pendor, so we've simplified this somewhat. The first thing to show you is when creating a new game. We've got a whole bunch of new menu art pieces, which you will be seeing popping up all over the place, really. As you can see here, Henry VII. So I'm just going to go through this extremely quickly. And this is the next thing that we can show. These are new banners. They've been pretty much completely reworked, I think. Made from scratch, as far as I know. Yes, I think so. Do we have any of the old favourites? I think these are completely new. Yeah, pretty sure. So, we have made them more relevant to the actual factions in Prophecy of Pendor, rather than just lifting from OSPs that were available. That one does look still somewhat familiar, so there might be a couple of them mixed in. But we have very distinct Sarleone up here, Ravenstern down here, Feardsvane down here, and then Dashar right there, and then at the bottom... Oh no, I think these are just kind of mixed ones. Where's the Empire? I guess these... Oh yeah, here. The Empire over there. Okay, so there you go. We have specific banners for the specific factions, and I think some of the banners actually correspond to the towns that they are in. We'll explore that when we're actually in the game and having a look around. So I'm going to take one of these bottom ones, because I think these aren't actually used by the Lord, so we're not messing anything up. We'll take that one. The completely realistic Viking helm. Allow me to quit without saving so I can do stuff. And this is not Klaus. Klaus is having a bit of a holiday today. This is something a bit different. This isn't the usual Mettenheim playstyle. I thought, episode 100 is a special event, so we need to make it special. So we'll very quickly create a character here. It doesn't really matter too much about what we're doing. We'll just take looting trainer. That'll do. And one-handed weapon. No, two-handed weapons even. Oh yes, I definitely want to be two-handed weapons actually, because that is something else I can show you. I think all of this is much the same. There are new textures for a lot of the new armors. Like quite a lot of it's had a pretty big overhaul. We were looking into an OSP for new female faces. I don't know if that made it in. I'm just checking through my notes of new features. It's not mentioned here, so I don't think it's in yet, but it was something that we were looking at. And we will go to Ravenstern. Yes, I think that'll be fine. See, lots of those new pictures. Fantastic. Now, do we have a two-hander? We do not. That's unfortunate. Terrible shot. Right, let's go and kill him. What? Get you. Don't know why he didn't switch, but never mind. New pictures. Let's go and talk to you real quick. Okay, so here we are in Ravenstern. The map itself I don't think has changed, but there are a few things to do with the map, however, have. And let me just have a look around. Yeah, okay. So what I'm going to do very quickly is just do a few little behind the scenes things to give myself some stuff, and then I'll be in a position to show you more. Okay, and we are back again. So I have pimped myself up slightly, so we are not quite a level 1 character anymore. We have rather more skills than that, and I've given myself 100 Marleyone's Heavy Cavalry. Now, one of the things I need to show off here, and in fact is to do with Marleyone's Heavy Cavalry, is you will notice the Mount Barding has that symbol. That is because if we go over to Marleyone's, oh look, it is actually Marleyone's. So units that are related to towns now have actually something to do with that town, and the towns now have an actual banner relevant to themselves. So Ravenstern, well, obviously that's the king of Ravensterns, but let's see, Senderfall should be something to do with ironworking, I think. Oh no, it's just a dragon. So yeah, all of these banners are new, and they're all relevant to the nation of Ravenstern, those ones. These will all be relevant to the nation of Sarleone. And as I'm flicking between these towns here, you will notice that the towns now have a different icon. Each town, I think, is unique. Well, Ravenstern changed? I don't think they have. But we have new castle icons. The villages, I think, are still the same. And the towns definitely have changed. The interior of towns, that is something that we were talking about doing, haven't changed. We were going to, for example, switch Ravenstern's town, so it was that much bigger, much more impressive one. But we had to lose that. Unfortunately, it was too big an impact on performance. And we've been always very proud that a lot of people with a very wide range of hardware could run Prophecy of Pendor. So we unfortunately did have to strip that out. It might find its way back in again in a modified format, but currently it is not. Sorry, lots of pauses here while I think about what is going on. So you'll see these debugs and things. Ignore those, likewise with the cheat stuff. That's just because I'm playing with some background developer tools. What was I going to do here? I was going to buy a weapon. And there is a particular type of weapon that I wish to buy. Namely, one of these. See, Klaus would be proud of this bit, at least. Crossbow and two-hander, although I am currently riding a horse. We'll get rid of the horse. Because there is something I want to do. Let's go and chase these outlaws down. Ignore the debugs, I'm sorry about that. I'll just get you guys to hold your position. One thing to point out is that our heraldic armors are not yet working properly. So you'll notice that all these guys, for some weird reason, have a blue background. That's because we haven't finished sorting those. Likewise me. The front is red, the back is blue. That shouldn't be like that. That is something we're still working on. Let's just go and find these outlaws. And you'll notice my run animation is now somewhat different. He now rests the sword on his shoulder as he's going. I think the attack animations changed? No, the attack animations have not changed, but the running animation has. I think it's a lot more natural. I mean, if you're carrying a great big sword, you'd kind of want to rest it somewhere, wouldn't you? You wouldn't just hold it out in front of you all the time. It'd be a bit strange. So that is a new animation we have there. I'm not sure if we're still working on other animations. I'm going to have to check with the others about that. And this big weapon I have here is a Mettenheim arbalest, which I haven't yet got with Klaus. So not Klaus is kind of getting ahead of the actual Klaus. Let's see if we can charge into these guys. In fact, you know what? Off you go, Marleyone's Heavy Cavalry. Do your thing. So he does still go into like the guard position afterwards, and then he rests it. Splat. And there we go. Marleyone's Heavy Cavalry have done their thing. Fantastic. I think I might turn that stuff off actually. One moment. Okay, it should be gone. So that was the new animation which I have shown you. New menu arts for the various cities and things. So I should be in... Oh, there we go. I wasn't teleporting before, now I am. New towns have got new text things. So I notice there's some overlap there. So that's something that needs to be changed. And I believe that the community actually helped out a great deal in finding these with snooze. I know there was a thread on the Tellworld forums basically asking for assistance. So there you go. This is Rain. Rain looks different. We go to Poinsbrook. That itself will also be different. There you are. So this is all really rather snazzy. I think you will agree. Let's really quite a big improvement in terms of the graphic quality, but we will need to sort that text issue out. So there will be bugs. Like I said, this is a pre-alpha of this new update. It is still very much in production. There's a lot of features we are still working on, which I cannot currently show you. They're not in this build. This is just something because, you know, episode 100 is like, hey guys, can I show this stuff off? And they're like, yeah, that's actually a really good idea. So let's do it. 5,000 run out. Really? Okay. And here we have Avendor, which is on the lake, of course. So it's a bit of a merchanty city. I wonder if that's Lübeck from the Hansa. Not sure. Okay, that is that part. Let me just check my notes and work on the next bit. So I have just been zooming around from tavern to tavern to try and find someone in particular, and here we are, Brother Randolph. Now I know that this was spoiled on the forums just as a bit of a preview, but the books have now got new textures, and the actual title of some of these books actually appear. So that says their Fechtbook, and that is in fact the Great Fechtbook with pictures. So the books now have actual, and we have another one. I didn't even realise we started one. We must be the surgeon background. I don't know, I flicked through it so quickly. Okay, so that was that bit. You can see all the different books. I'm sure if you look closely you will actually see them. So Great Leaders of Pendor. Anyway, there you go. That's that bit. And now, just because it seems to be a familiar thing in my Let's Plays, Freddy! Yay, Freddy! It hasn't actually changed at all, I just wanted to say that. Okay, so I've just been flicking around some of the taverns again. Over here we have some Mettenheim Abenteuers, which of course we saw in the previous one, but you will notice his armour is quite a lot higher texture, higher quality now. A lot of the armours have had a similar overhaul, actually, a great number of them. I will try and show more of those off in a moment. There was another thing I wanted to do. If you see a Donya in the game, and you want to see some new stuff, I would recommend recruiting her. There are some other requirements required for this. I don't want to spoil anything. It's something for you guys to find out. One other thing that I really ought to mention about all the new items and item updates that we have actually is they're actually better optimized. The mod download is smaller than it used to be. That is mostly because we've made some changes to the sound effects in the game and have much better optimized how those function, and basically we're able to use better compression to get around that. But the items, they're just a lot better sized and optimized now than they used to be. So the mod will, number one, it's smaller, like I mentioned, but it's also much quicker at loading, noticeably so. So you'll remember that I mentioned earlier that having Pendor run on a wide range of hardware is important to us. That's where that comes through. So we didn't want to add any new items and item updates which would cause performance issues, so they won't. So any of you who are concerned about that, having seen all of this new stuff and all these upgrades and things, don't worry. Things will still run. Alright, so we're just currently roaming around up here in Ravenstern when I came across another little report that I remembered and I wanted to show you. If you click down here in the reports, scroll down, and you'll see here Pendor map. This is a rather cool little feature that we have added. It is a map of Pendor, and you will see everything is color-coded, and you can, if you hover over the little icons, see the different settlements. So the towns, the castles, and the villages. Towns obviously being the big square, castles being the medium square, and the villages being the small ones. It is also split up into provinces. So for example, here we have Laria with its attached villages. That makes it very easy to see precisely which villages belong to whom. Or over here we have Ithos, which is the biggest one, has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 villages attached to Ethos. It's massive. Definitely like the urban centre. Sarleone with only 1, really? So Sarleone's quite a poor one. Pretty sure that's how it works. Yeah, you have the 3. Thought Ethos only had 5, not 6. But anyway, the idea of this is as different territories switch sides, this map will reflect it. So if we see Sanj-Safid down there, it will actually go down to Sanj-Safid, like so. We could attack them. I happen to know that we are actually at war with them currently. Takes 6 hours. Hopefully none of the Shah Lords come after us. You're Sarleon, you're fine. Lead you an assault. Now I'm actually going to cut the siege out. You've seen sieges a million times before. I'm just here with a whole bunch of ebony gauntlets. And I also happen to know this is a fairly easy one to win. You infantry or your archers? You're probably archers. Right, let's just do this. We'll put you there. Maybe there. I could contribute as well. So once this siege is done, I will show you what happens on the map. So we actually managed to win that fight without even getting the siege tower up to the walls. We didn't even enter the castle at all. It was all done by their crossbows. Ebony gauntlets, of course, being absolutely ridiculous in battles. One thing which I can show you while I'm here, actually, is if we access the item pool, this list is now infinite. It will keep on going and keep on going and keep on going. I don't know if we tested that properly yet, but that's the theory. So if we do get to the point where the looted gear is so full and you had the problem where you couldn't get your companions to re-equip items because this list was so full, well, that shouldn't be an issue anymore. Yeah. So that is that. Now let's check the Pendor map. I've just formed the Kingdom of Pendor. Prominent citizen, Kingdom of Pendor, fine. Okay, because we just kind of did that all on our own. Now if we go to reports, Pendor map, there should now be a new colour there in the middle. There is! So there you go, you can see it now updates depending on who owns what territory. So it really gives you a nice overview of precisely who owns what. And why is that yellow, I wonder? Just a little blip, I guess. So I think that's really cool. I really, really like this. For those who are like interested in the strategy and kind of getting a map down on the table and saying, right, we're going to attack here and we're going to attack here. That's precisely what you would do from this view. It gives you a nice little faction overview there. Excellent. You can turn bits off if you just want to show the towns, for example. Those are the big provinces with those towns. So there you go. One other thing I noticed when we were checking the reports, I'm not sure was there before because I don't remember it. Troop tree, click on that, and now gives you a tree for all of the different factions. So if, for example, you wanted to find out what the Bacchus Empire troops could do and how the upgrades work, this is it, plus the upgrade costs. And if you click on the actual unit, it'll show you what equipment they'll spawn with, along with their skills, their name, and like their picture. So that's rather cool. I had not seen this before if this was here. If not, this is new, and yeah, this looks so good. Well impressed by this. So you can see Ravenstone Mounted Ranger, level 35. You can see their starting gear. And the way that this works is if there's multiples of a single item, they're more likely to get that item, otherwise it's random. So kilt over mail, kilt with cape, that's not a very good example. Probably, let's see, someone with throwing weapons would probably be the best. Nope. Nope. Okay, this isn't working for me, unless they've paired out any duplicates. Or the faction troops may not use them as much. Ah, here we go. So they're more likely to start with a Fearsfane Berserker sword than they are with a double axe. 3 to 2. So that's how duplicates work. So again, they're more likely to have a bear claw helm. Actually, no, they're equally likely to have either of those. They're always going to have Berserker armor, they're always going to have gauntlets. They could have either leather or hide. And yeah, there you go. And that's why you'll very often see a Berserker with like a two-handed sword and a double axe on his back, because he's just got both. That's just the way it works. Like my Mettenheim troops very often have a great sword and then another great sword on their back. That's to ensure they have a great sword of some kind, but there's probably different types, like the Mettenheim dueling swords, Zweihanders, etc. Another thing which we have done is I've just very quickly changed our army here. So we're just going to attack you. We are apparently at war with the Dashar anyway. Well, we did just take one of their castles, didn't we? So here we are with a bunch of Doom Guides. They themselves haven't changed. Actually, let's follow me. I should have been mounted for this one, I think. But when you initially charge, you're actually using your missile weapons. That's interesting. Alright, follow me. Come on, chaps. Or chapesses, rather. When we get to the enemy, I want to show you something new. In fact, we're going to do this Mettenheim style. Just feels wrong otherwise. So, get over here. Because we need them a bit closer to be able to understand what has changed. Alright, so Doom Guides. And you should already be able to hear female changes. Female sounds have changed. We re-recruited a bunch. You no longer have the screaming banshees. So there's a bit more difference, and you don't have the ear-splitting wails that you used to have. Now let's finish this battle and see how their victory cheer sounds. This is actually quite scary. They are really quick as well. I'm struggling to overtake them. Let's use your bows. Use your bows. Come on, girls. Fire. Thank you. Has their armor changed? Pretty sure it hasn't. Oh. And there you go. Their cheering has also changed, so you no longer go "Ah!" which we used to have. And finally, there is this. I'm just spawned in an absolutely rubbish position. But I've just grabbed one soldier of every single faction. Wow, this is either terrible or amazing start location. Let's finish this before we actually kill everyone. Like I mentioned before, a whole bunch of the armor sets have been changed. So we're just going to run through. Let's have a quick look. I'm sure there's a couple of new ones, but I don't remember them all like offhand because a lot of them, I mean a lot, have been updated. They're more high definition now and just generally look so much better. The Dashar obviously are kind of the odd one out here. Those are being overhauled. They have not made it in just yet because we are still quibbling about the naming conventions and the precise unit composition. There we go. A lot of shields also redone, although you may have seen some of that in the previous version. I know a lot of the plate armors were redone, particularly for Ravenstern. Not doing too well. I don't think the horses have changed. So yeah, like the Empire Knights, they've been updated, pretty sure. So if you can spot any particular changes here, do let me know in the comments. Again, heraldic armor is not currently working properly, which is why quite a few units have like a red front and a blue back. Those have not been matched up yet. You actually need to do that with code, and we haven't done it yet. Sure, won't have changed much. Some of these armors will have, for sure. Helmets have not changed, I think. Anyway, I thought this was a pretty good way of kind of showing you the entire roster of troops here. I know a lot of the plate armors did change, so the Pendor Foot Knight, ignore the back, more high def, definitely. It's like the mix of chain and plate now. We've also done a bit of reworking the armors to actually reflect how much protection they actually give, so the Pendor Knight with his plate and chain is not as protective as like the absolute full plate that a Knight of the Dragon would have, for example. And I can't show you that right now. There you go, Hoscal. Mixture of plates, cloth, and probably some kind of padding underneath. Well, padding is... the cloth is the padding. So yeah, there you go. Like I said, the Dashar haven't been done yet. Gear guards, well armoured, looking pretty hard. Likewise, Sarlion halberdiers. That's a new stance from the animations. Alright then, go and show off, guys. Go and kill them. Don't actually know what's left. Not just attacking some mismounting outlaws. Oh. Is that it? No. And there we go, victory. And this is what I was saying with the Berserkers. He's got an axe on his back and a sword in his hand. That's because he's been given both, but he's using the sword because he thinks it's a better weapon. So there you go for that. And finally, I think for this episode, there is one more thing to show off. You'll see that some of my companions here are modelling some new items, and these are in fact what 2 new units to the game will look like. They are representing one of the factions from Prophecy of Pendor 4, which you may have heard about, but have not actually seen in the game yet. On the left we have one guy, pretty heavily armoured. His equipment still up for discussion. He might be a two-hander, he might be a sword and board, we don't know yet, but he's looking pretty cool, modelled of course by Freddy. Then here on the right we have the other guy, modelled by Siggy Sinclair. A little darker, a little more sneaky, shall we say. So who do you think these guys are? What do you think they represent? And what faction do you think they are of? Then finally, my own character, also with some new gear. Not entirely sure what form this character will appear yet. Those two are definitely, except for the weapons, that is basically what they are going to be. My own character we're still deciding on, and precisely how they're going to be found in the world we're also discussing. That halberd's actually just a bog standard halberd, but he probably is going to be a halberd soldier himself. So there you go, a little sneak preview of a new faction which is about to appear in the game, and some of their gear. Rather swish, I am sure you will agree. Except for the clipping in the shoulder. Oh well, can't have everything. Anyway, I hope that you have enjoyed this little showcase and this episode 100 special. I still can hardly believe that we've made it through 100 episodes just yet, but we have, and we've got there, and I think things are still going well. Klaus himself, of course, will be back for episode 101, rather than this not Klaus thing, which we've been working with currently. I think those are most of the features which are currently in. Like I said, this is still a very early pre-alpha. We don't have everything in the game just yet. We are still working on a number of features, but this is a pretty good representation. Also, I should note that none of the stats for these guys have actually been done yet, so this armor and this weapons and stuff, they're probably only doing like 1 damage. They'll be quite high tier when you actually see them fully in action, and they will be mounted. They probably won't. Anyway, that's it from me, so I hope you have enjoyed this. Please do like and subscribe to this channel if you have. I will try and continue introducing new content like this where I can. You know, I am one of the developers. I do have a few benefits for being in that position, and I'm very much keen to share that stuff with you guys in the future. If you have any tips or don't need tips for one of these. What am I saying? I'm so used to saying that. If you have any comments or any just general messages, questions, answers, etc., or just speculation on what these 2 soldiers are and what they are all about, then please do let me know in the comments, and hopefully we'll get some discussions going there. I do try and read everything, so I will try and respond to you as well. Thank you very much for joining me, and from me and the other developers, we'll catch you next time. Goodbye.